Um, Good afternoon, everyone. We are the Group 2 and we are here to present to you uh, the second topic of civil engineering orientation, which is civil engineering in society and other professions. I am Mylene Agustin.
I am Jascen Mae Elsisura.
I am Joshua Belandres.
I am Lian Manansala.
And I am Abigail Sergio.
Okay, so I'll start now the presentation. First, let's define what is civil engineering. Next slide, please. Okay, so let's define civil engineering as a profession. Okay, so according here, a civil engineer is a professional which is trained and licensed by the law to perform the function of designing the civil aspects, specifically architectural and structural of the building, and supervising the construction or installation of those items. Okay, so according to this definition, civil engineering is a profession that deals with the designing and constructing of infrastructures. But we also have to keep in mind that civil engineering is not just about construction and designing. It also tackles or deals with maintenance of these infrastructures. So, bakit nga ba kailangan ng maintenance? Okay, so we conduct maintenance obviously to maintain the infrastructures for their efficiency, quality, and safety. Okay, so next definition. Okay, so as defined by the PRC, civil engineering as a practice is made up of services in the form of consultation, design, preparation of plans, specifications, estimates, erection, installation, supervision of construction of infrastructures, and demolition of permanent structures. So I kind of summarize what is presented here on the screen so that we can understand it easily. Okay. So those are the definitions of civil engineering. So as we can understand or observe by those two definitions, civil engineering circulates or deals primarily in construction, designing, in maintenance of infrastructures. Okay, so next, let us proceed to the next topic, which will be discussed by Mr. Manansala.
Good morning, everyone. I will be the one to discuss about the acquired characteristics of a good civil engineer. Next slide, please. Number 1, technical skills. A good civil engineer should have a level of mathematics and physics that allows for the identification and solving of engineering problems. They need to be able to predict any possible future problems and find solutions for them. Kailangan natin maging matalino para mas maging maganda ang ating project, and kailangan din natin maging wise at madiskarte para malagpasan yung mga problema na dadating sa ating trabaho bilang civil engineer. Number 2, project management. They should be good at handling the workflow of the construction projects and allocating the right resources at the right time and at the right place. Kailangan sila ang mag-lead sa buong team para mas maayos ang flow ng kanilang trabaho at para masunod ang plano ng project. Number 3, communication skills. Engineers need to be able to clearly communicate ideas and give direction, leaving no ambiguity. They must also be able to listen and benefit from the ideas of others in the team. They should be able to have a good communication with the team para mas mapadali at mas maayos yung kanilang trabaho. Dahil sa kanilang trabaho, kailangan din nila ng teamwork para maging maganda yung kalalabasan ng kanilang project. Number 4, creativity. More often than not, this requires a certain level of creativity. Engineers need to be able to innovate and improve on solutions. Isa sa mga characteristics ng magaling na civil engineer is being an innovative thinker. Kailangan nilang maging creative para mas mapaganda yung mga ginagawa nilang projects. Next slide, please. Number 5, critical thinking. Civil engineers often face complex problems and need to find efficient solutions for them. Para kahit anong problem yung dumating sa trabaho ng isang civil engineer, makakaisip pa rin siya ng paraan para masolusyonan yung problem na yun. Number 6, organization skills. Engineers often work on multiple projects. They must be able to organize project information, manage the team, and allocate the resources where necessary. Tulad ng project management, kailangan ang isang civil engineer ay organize para maging maayos yung flow ng project na naka-assign sa kanya para mas magawa niya ng maayos ng team niya yung kanilang trabaho na nakaayon sa plano. Number 7, attention to detail. The best engineers show great attention to detail and spot small issues before they become major problems. Bilang isang civil engineer, tayo ay responsible sa lahat ng pwede mangyari sa ginagawa nating project. Buhay ng tao ang nakasalalay, kaya kapag tayo ay nakagawa ng kahit maliit na pagkakamali bilang isang civil engineer, maaaring malaki ang maging epekto nito sa ating project at baka masama yung maging epekto nito. Number 8, thinking ahead. It is important for an engineer to think ahead and identify the possible problems that might arise so that when it happens, it would be easier for the issue to be addressed. Gaya ng sinabi ko kanina, we are responsible sa lahat ng pwedeng mangyari. So nararapat na maisip natin yung mga possible na mangyari sa future para habang maaga pa, maiwasan na ito at kung mangyayari man yun, alam natin kung paano yun sosolusyonan. Yun lamang po. And the next topic will be discussed by Miss Agustin.
So the next topic is all about the subdiscipline and branches of civil engineering. As a civil engineering is related to every aspect of human life, it deals with a very large field. And to make it simplified, civil engineering is divided into 10 subcategories.
Okay, so the 10 subcategories of civil engineering. First is environmental engineering. For environmental engineering, it treats chemicals, biological, and thermal waste. It concentrates on water purification, wastewater and solid waste treatment, air pollution, hazardous waste management. Next is geotechnical engineering. This branch is based on the knowledge from geology, material science, mechanics, and hydraulics. It focuses on economical foundations, retaining walls as well as similar structure designs. Third is the structural engineering. It provides structural design and structural analysis of buildings. It identifies the kind of loads acting on structures and it takes into account the strength, stiffness, and stability of the structures. Okay, so the fourth subcategory is the municipal engineering. Okay, so this branch is of civil engineering, deals with municipal infrastructure. It designs, constructs, and maintains pavements, water supply networks, sewers, street lighting, municipal solid waste management, public parks, and bicycle paths. Okay, so next. Okay, so okay, go ahead, Mr. Agustin. Okay, so continuing. Next is water resource engineering. It concerns collection and management of water. This branch is connected with hydrology, obviously, environmental science, meteorology, geology, and resource management. Next is material engineering. This branch deals with the various kinds of materials such as concrete mixed asphalt, concrete, metals. Its attention is drawn to increasing strength of aluminum, steel, polymers, and carbon fibers. Next is coastal engineering. The main task of this branch is to manage the coastal areas. It also tackles with the flooding defense and erosion. Next is construction engineering. The primary role of construction engineering is to manage and oversee the entire construction project. Their daily tasks are likely to involve evaluating logistical operations, reviewing contracts, and coordinating contractors.
So sorry for the interruption. First two subcategories of civil engineering. Surveying, measuring a certain dimension which occur on the Earth's surface. Land surveying is used for a boundary, establishing and for making subdivision plans. Construction surveying includes existing condition. Survey, verifying the structure location during construction and survey at the end. Hydraulic engineering studies the effect of water and will provide expertise and guidance on projects related to water supply, drainage system, and flooding.
So thank you. So next we are going to discuss about civil engineering as a multidisciplinary field. So next slide, please. As mentioned earlier, civil engineering has its different sub-disciplines or branches, making it what? Making it a multidisciplinary field. So when building infrastructures, engineers with the same and different field of expertise work together to ensure the quality. to ensure the quality of the construction project. Of course, there are different aspects that needs to be considered when we are constructing an infrastructure. So to make it clearer, let's have a closer look by giving an example. So, example, when constructing a highway interchange, a highway interchange, um, it deals with transportation, but aside from transportation engineer, structural engineer and safety engineer are also involved in this project. So in what way? Structural engineering makes the highway interchange stable and design the structure itself. So about the technicalities of the construction, structural engineer is the one who is in charge. Now, transportation engineering, he or she naman is the responsible for the transport technicalities such as lanes that are needed or how to maximize the traffic flow and safety. Now, after these two done their works, safety engineer, papasok naman si safety engineer. He or she inspects the structure or the infrastructure to avoid hazards from happening. So, yun yung isang example, no, kung paano nagiging multidisciplinary yung civil engineering. Another example is environmental engineers. So, environmental engineers are called upon to play an important role in environmental protection because engineering solutions are required to meet the environmental standards set by the legislation. Civil engineers are particularly involved in such activities as water supply and sewerage, management of surface water and groundwater quality, remediation of contaminated sites, and solid waste management. Of course, civil engineers works on how to utilize the environment. But of course, environment should not be compromised. So that's why we have environmental engineers. So that is how civil engineering is considered to be a multidisciplinary field. Yan. So next, let us discuss civil engineering and society. Next slide, please. Yan. Civil engineering and society. Next slide. Yan. From the inside of our homes to massive skyscrapers and from small public parks to national space programs, civil engineers work to create the built environment while also shaping the natural environment. Integrating both the hard sciences and aesthetics, civil engineers work at the leading edge of engineering to make our lives more efficient, more convenient, and more enjoyable. Tama, no? Almost everywhere we look, we can see civil engineering work. Sabi nga dyan, from inside of our homes to massive skyscrapers. Yan. Civil engineering works are very prevalent and evident. So, but how does civil engineering makes our lives more efficient, more convenient, and more enjoyable? Let's discuss further in the next slide. Next slide, please. Ayan. So, dating back to when people first started living in permanent settlements and began shaping their environments to suit their needs, civil engineers began to play their role, not just to work out the needs, but also to increase the health and quality of life. Tama, no? As people, we tend to become more civilized as time passes by. And so, by considering that, the need for civil engineers will not end. Yan. So, paano ginagawa ng civil engineer na convenient o masolusyonan din yung mga needs ng mga tao? So, may mga binigay na examples. Developing better water supplies, municipal sewer systems, wastewater treatment plants, designing of buildings to protect us from natural hazards and provide healthcare, improving agriculture through water resource development and distributions of projects to rapid and dramatic changes in transportation systems and many more. Syempre, maraming aspect din na ginawa ng civil engineer na convenient yung everyday lives natin. So kung mapapansin nga natin, yung works and contributions ng civil engineer is all about making our daily lives convenient and easier. So what are the other points that we should consider when it comes on the contributions of the civil engineer? So next slide please. So, how can an engineer help a society, specifically economically? So, let us read. By lowering the cost of construction work, of course, one of the duties of civil engineering is also to choose the most cost-efficient product, of course, without compromising the quality. And next, by maintaining the safety of workers as a site, by faster construction of the project, and by increasing productivity, also by maintaining the quality of work. So more than just making our lives better, making our daily lives convenient, engineers also helps pala when it comes on our economy. So as we have observed, as we have tackled about contributions of civil engineering, they have been helping the society from the ancient times. And of course, since we are taking civil engineer, it will continue in the future. So thank you. The next topic will be discussed by Mr. Manansala.
Okay. The next topic to be discussed is about the roles of civil engineering to the society. Next slide, please. Po. Thank you. We all know that civil engineers play an extremely important role in the society. A civil engineer is responsible for analyzing different factors regarding a construction project. Nangangahulugan ito na ang civil engineer ang taong nakatutok sa isang project mula sa simula hanggang matapos ito. Sa kanya din nakasalalay ang success ng isang project na gagamitin ng maraming tao. Sa isa sa characteristics ng isang magaling na civil engineer, isa doon ang pagiging mapagmasid ng isang civil engineer. Attention to detail. Nararapat na magawa at masunod ang plano para sa project na naka-assign sa kanya ng tama at ng magandang pagkakagawa. Ang role ng isang civil engineer sa society ay paggawa ng mga infrastructures na makakatulong at safe sa mga tao. Next po. A civil engineer also needs to use different figures, equations, and applications to ensure that the processes are being implemented accurately. They need to conduct a number of functions such as conducting chemical testing, using various applications, use a drafting and design software throughout the project, and conducting electrical testing of devices and equipment. Maraming factors ang pwedeng maging problema ng isang project. Kaya bilang isang civil engineer, siyang responsible para maiwasan o masolusyonan yung mga factors na yon. Maraming ways ang isang civil engineer upang makasigurado na masosolusyonan ito at magagawa ang isang project ng safe para sa mga tao. Yan lang po. The next topic will be discussed by Miss Sergio.
So the next topic is
So,
civil engineering in society, specifically their job roles. So civil engineering incorporates a broad range of different job roles, from the construction of highways and buildings to dams, tunnels, bridges, and other smaller facilities and role and responsibility of civil the responsible of civil engineers are vast. There are two crucial aspects of civil engineers. Um, One is the consulting engineers. Consulting engineers design a specific project. So, kumbaga, consulting engineers sila yung parang in making a project, sila yung first step. They should consult with the architects with different fields para ma-ensure na yung project is feasible and magagawa ng paraan. The next is contracting engineers. So they manage the physical construction and play a significant role in transforming the proposed development into architecture. So contracting engineers are the one responsible in making making the infrastructure a blueprint, turning a blueprint into infrastructure. Yan. So the next is there are three key roles and responsibilities of civil engineers. The first and most important responsibility is to analyze the site location and the surrounding area. This includes a search and investigation, verifying its feasibility or construction purposes. So, upon making the project, hindi naman pwedeng magtatayo ka lang bigla sa isang lupa. You engineer should make sure that the soil could uplift the because the engineers are the one responsible to take charge if the strength of the soil in that field could uplift the building infrastructure. The second is to design a plan outlining the key variable and what needs to be changed prior to the construction. So, in a construction, we can secure or assure that the plotted plan, will be followed and online. So, as a civil engineers, they should be vigilant enough to take action upon the uprising risk or possible risk that may that may that may pwedeng lumabas during the construction itself. So the third role or responsibility of civil engineering is to develop a detailed design layout, keeping the requirements of the client in mind. The design and any subsequent reports need to be reviewed and approved, and any potential risk and challenges of the project identified. So, dito sa third role and responsibility of civil engineers, they should follow the proper flow upon doing a project. They should first meet the requirements of the clients. Next is upon doing the project itself, kailangan may mga building permits silang aasikasuhin or any permits that the government requires. So yeah, that's it. And the next reporter will be Miss Abigail Sergio.
The second to the last topic is civil engineering and society, pros and cons of civil engineering in the society. Next po. Advantage. Civil engineers are professionals that are educated and trained to build infrastructure and project that ensures the safety and development of the society. Civil engineers develop our society. They design and build infrastructure that ensures high rigidity and enhance the life of people. For example, schools, colleges, malls, bridges, water supply, drainage system, sewage system, and many more. They provide transportation system. And also, adding to advantages, significantly higher than every other type of engineer. And next, job, ma- job outlook much faster than the average for all occupation. Disadvantage, as our society develops, multiple infrastructure will build from left to right that sometimes cause harm or even destroy the natural environment. Negative impact on Earth by releasing emission. And lastly, the last subtopic for our presentation is civil engineering and other profession. So as it said earlier, it is important that there are a lot of engineers who involved in a construction. So here are some profession and engineers that should work together with the civil engineers. Number one is civil engineers and the architects. Civil engineers are known for the best tandem in building structure. Architect is the one who is more responsible with the overall design of the structure, and after the civil engineers will now check the materials needed to ensure a safe structure. Engineers and architects both estimate cost and create plans based on the selected budget, while civil engineers decided on the materials used to ensure a safe structure. Architects highlight the design aspect of the project. Next, civil engineers and electrical engineers. Engineers design ways to fix. In their design, they must consider factors such as cost, efficiency, safety, and other parameters defined by project specification. Civil engineers work on projects that involve infrastructure such as road, bridge, and water supply and sewage treatment. Electrical engineers work on projects that involves electrical components such as wireless communication device and navigation system. Regardless of the type of project or type of engineer, strong math and analytical skills are required to be successful. Electrical engineers is also responsible for the wiring and electrical component in a construction. That's why it is also important for the civil engineer and electrical engineer to work on the said project of a structure. In this, electrical engineers will be able to ensure the safety of the wires and electrical in a structure. And lastly, civil engineers and plumbing engineers. The plumbing engineer supports the civil engineer for the plumbing system outside the building, including storm water, sewer, natural gas, fire suppression water, domestic water, irrigation water, and other special water and waste system. Like electrical engineers or other engineers mentioned earlier, plumbing engineers are also important to work with a civil engineer because it is help to ensure the safety and the right place of the water pipes, septic tank, and other water and waste system. Yun lang po and thank you so much.
So this has been Group 2 reporting about civil engineering, society, and other professions. We hope that you learned something from this presentation. Thank you.